Together, we'll be ready to launch the FedNow service between May and July of 2023. The FedNow service will transform the way everyday payments are made throughout the economy, bringing substantial gains to households and businesses through the ability to send instant payments at any time on any day with funds immediately available.
An all-digital system gives ultimately the people who control the central banks and the banking system an ability to literally turn on and off your money if you don't do exactly what they say. And exactly what you say includes taxation without representation, healthcare mandates, and literally taking away your kids.
CBDC. If that happens, we're done.
A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine.
Wait for it.
A bank or other financial service provider will be able to immediately freeze or suspend an account without a court order.
Let me play it again.
A bank or other financial service provider will be able to immediately freeze or suspend an account without a court order.
Translator translates exactly what he says. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.
Important. Please listen, everyone. Take your time. Go through it slowly. And I want these words to sink in. This is Vladimir Putin demonstrating absolute disgust, frustration, outrage, you name it. But listen carefully.
Okay, so this is Putin, his words. I'm tired today. I'm tired of everything. I want to talk to the countries of the world. What's happening? What kind of Satan's plan do you dream of? You want to deliberately reduce the world's population by sacrificing innocent lives using unstable spirits who believe in your political correctness. People brainwashing, vicious media systems, and shameless lies constantly and intentionally. Now, I just want to say here that, you should be at the point now that if you listen to mainstream media, you should know that everything they say is tilted and a lie, a misdirection, or an outright lie, a fabrication. Like January 6th insurrection, that's a fabrication. That it didn't happen. How come these American citizens that commit misdemeanors are still in jail after 2 years, yet no public official that commits a felony is going to spend his stay in?
But we'll begin with the year that gave birth to the Federal Reserve Bank and Big Pharma. In 1910, the Carnegie Foundation published the Flexner Report, which directly led to the shutting down of natural traditional medicine and gave way for the Rockefellers to patent and monopolize the medicine industry. That same year, Rothschild banking dynasty's Paul Warburg, along with high-ranking members of U.S. banking and government, met in secret to hatch a plan that would financially rob every single American citizen for generations to come. Fractional reserve banking was considered a scam for centuries. This changed in 1913 with the Federal Reserve banking system. Fractional reserve banking became the norm, regulated by the Fed. The Federal Reserve was also given the task of managing the U.S. debt, otherwise known as inflation, the hidden tax where the Fed gets to bail out members of their criminal cabal while everyone else suffers. Meanwhile, their families created their own interest-free banks, utilizing what's known as a whole life insurance policy and family trusts, keeping their own wealth safely out of the Federal Reserve System, a banking system that gave this cabal unlimited funds to wage war against all of humanity. In 1921, after years of meeting in secret, the Round Table Movement, a group that sought to reunify America with the Crown, and the Harvard Business School, merged factions to become the Council on Foreign Relations, a think tank allowing bankers and industrialists the opportunity to engineer government policy and discreetly undermine American democracy. In 1942, the OSS was formed by the cabal as an intelligence agency to fight the war. OSS member Alan Dulles went on to help create the CIA in 1947, who immediately began seizing control of the worldwide illicit drug market, starting with trade in Sicily. The CIA's reputation speaks for itself. They are the world's biggest cartel, overthrower of nations, and purveyors of propaganda and MK-Ultra. The globalist cabal has these intelligence groups in all of their nations, with no oversight, using them as a secret army to carry out their agenda. In 1944, the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund were created under the guise of fostering global growth, followed by the United Nations in 1945. What they actually did was work together to violently seize control of entire nations. The World Bank trained people known as economic men to make a simple offer to world leaders on their behalf: either accept a massive loan designed to bankrupt their nation or be killed. And many were. The game is simple: conquer by debt. The Federal Reserve banking system does it to every individual, and the World Bank and IMF do it to every nation. Once indebted to these crooked institutions, they lose control over their own destiny. The only difference between the mafia and this globalist cabal is scale. Starting in 1951, Henry Kissinger founded and directed the Harvard International Seminar. Funded by Kissinger through grants from private foundations known to be fronts for the CIA, the Harvard International Seminar was yet another group of globalist leaders coming together to discuss the future of a one-world government. The first documented meeting of the infamous Bilderberg Group was in 1954, but it would take the public 50 years to become aware of them. In 1955, the Bilderberg Group privately discussed plans for the European Union and the Euro, 38 years before their creation, slowly making their way into a one-world government controlled by their own interests.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
After they assassinated
Look, I think that everyone is going to have to take a hard look at where they want to be at this moment in history, as we're looking at efforts across the country to prevent people from being able to exercise their fundamental rights. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. Wait. First of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.